headmaster's office, right? And they're in there. And Dr. Carr, Dr. Bruce Carr, you can look him up, all right? He's still on Facebook. Bruce said, I guess I'm old enough now, I can call him Bruce. But Bruce said, he said, well, Ben, did you say it? And Ben says, yeah, I said it. And then he looked at me, he's like, well, there you go. You got what you needed. So that's the kind of environment that I remember hawking the most of. It was all right by me. So anyway, after that, I did my undergrad, which was communications with a focus on journalism and rhetoric and news reporting. And that was in Cincinnati. And before I even graduated, I was the editor of the Ohio Call and Post, which is a black-owned newspaper. And I was a Cincinnati editor of that, right? And it was a lot of work, I'm going to tell you that, right? But I took that over other options I had that were more mainstream because I was, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to really get into the community and do that sort of thing. So did that. And then I said, well, I'm going to go to law school eventually. Let me transfer. I want to work for a larger paper, a more mainstream, like Reed, white-owned newspaper, so I can have that experience, right, to be well-rounded. So that's what I did. And then I worked for the Indianapolis Star, and I was just a general beat reporter. And so that's what that was about. And then I went on to law school. At law school, I clerked for Terry Gilbert. He's a high-powered lawyer out of Cleveland, a lot of murder trials, civil rights. He does opposite of all. Some offices only do criminal defense, and some only do civil rights. But Freeman and Gilbert did it both. And I watched them grow. At that time, there were just 2 attorneys. Now they've got like 6 attorneys. They got a couple offices. They've got an innocence clinic at Cleveland Marshall Law School that Terry started. And then also I started clerking for the Attorney General's office. And I was doing that, those 2, and going to law school. So, I mean, you could do that when you're 28, I guess, right? You just go. You wake up, you just say go, and you go. And so, anyway, I transitioned from Terry's office to the AG's office because Terry was not hiring other attorneys at that time. And so none of the law clerks that we were working there really got offers, and we had to just move on in the diaspora. So I did that. And became an assistant attorney general working in some criminal-related stuff in the employment section. So this means if you had a wrongful termination or unemployment was withheld because of criminal activity, I had to work with law enforcement to determine if that was like a legitimate reason to stop your unemployment benefits. Okay. Then administration change came in 95. Republican came in and whacked everybody in the office pretty much that wasn't aligned with them or that was like a peon. And at the time I was a peon, right? And so we got whacked and they brought in more Republican staff. And now I'm legal. I won several criminal defense cases, settled a lot of civil rights cases for people of all walks of life, landlord, tenant stuff, all this, right? So I got suspended for a year because at one point I had this guy, he's a friend of mine and another attorney, but not in my office. Sam Pope is his name. You can look up these records. They make it sound like villains, okay? I'm very open about my past. I'd love to see Jeff Metcalf be open about his past. I've invited him to come to this show, by the way. So what it was I knew that one of my clients named Candy Cantrell was dating a black guy. And I knew that her apartment was like a hellhole, all right? It was, you could literally see, I went to the apartment with her, you could see the ceiling through the bathroom, okay? And one day, she's a bigger girl, right? I mean, she slipped on this gelatinous mass that had fallen from the ceiling by the toilet. And she did some damage. So we're suing for that. Everything's going along, whatever, okay, we're personal injury case. And then I'm at the pizza shop underneath